Facebook. Music.
Really gotta get a second 4K monitor. Like having Skype, yeah, it's killing me now.
I regret buying this monitor. It's not a 4K like TV.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't have an audio on it or anything.
Mm.
And the quality is awful because it's not a television, so you can't really adjust it the way you want.
Yeah. I really like I have a BenQ 4K monitor, and I love it because it is meant for like color correction, so it's got whatever. Yeah.
I love their projectors. I got a BenQ digital projector.
Yeah, their monitors are awesome because they're like you can get special creative line monitors that are meant for color correction. So mine does like 99.999% accurate sRGB, and then you can switch to like an AutoCAD mode too if you're working just with modeling, so that way it's got like a little bit higher contrast and stuff. What other modes?
How much is it?
This one, I think it's either the 27 or 32 inch. It's the smaller of them, and I think I only paid like $400 for it.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Replace this one I have here. But then it's like, I have a working monitor. What do I do with it? You know,
Yeah. Donate it to a school or give it to your daughter.
That's a good idea. I need to do that for VR computer because I'm always promoting it to it. It doesn't have a monitor.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Share live on Facebook. Share my timeline. Yes, please.
All these hashtags. Sure, that's enough.
We should get all the chat in the thing now. You should be able to see it on Skype, which means you'll see it closer to real time.
Oh, nice.
Turn off the music. Let's go to two-shot, shall we? Here we are. Hello, everybody. All right. Waiting for messages to come in.
Cool.
Let's see. Got the doing the bat signal. Bat signal has been sent. Let's see who we got showing up here.
Cool. Let's see, I've got the Restream chat app open plus Skype, so I should not miss any messages.
Cool. I'll wait for some people to show up for a second here.
Yeah, it's funny, like when I do it, usually it's hit or miss for the first 20 minutes, and then by like 10 o'clock my time, I'll have like 10 or 20 people show up. It's like, man, like,
Where were you before?
Yeah, you're like an hour late.
Sign up for the bat signal, dang it.
Yeah.
I should talk about that more in the show. I don't think people realize sometimes. Get a little fan going here. Got a couple showing up on yours.
Cool.
You should get a Stream Deck. Do you have a Stream Deck?
No, but I've thought about it. I've looked into it because now that I have like this kind of my old machine kind of just acting as a server, I've been thinking about getting a video capture card for it, just like dedicated for streaming, and then getting a Stream Deck.
I love the Stream Deck for the switching stuff. So cool. And even the green screen behind me is the same company, Elgato.
Yeah.
And man, they make such a great little green screen for $150. Pulls up like a shade, doesn't even have to hook, like it's self-standing. Like when you raise it up, it just stays at whatever level you pull it up to.
I'm gonna write that down too.
Oh man, it's so cool. Elgato Stream Deck, Elgato green screen. You could get both of those combined for $250.
Do you have the, what is it, like the 18 button Stream Deck, or do you have like the 6 or 8 or whatever it is?
It's 15.
15, okay.
Yeah, and then they make that little capture device too, which I kind of like. It's a game capture card, but you know.
Oh, Mr. Milstead.
Oh, there he is. The quality on the stream looks so much better with the NDI stuff. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I could even add some translucency to my background. You could see through it. That'd be funny. See how the stream looks on the iPhone. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I just brought it up really quickly from clicking on my link, and it looked really good.
That's good. I hope I sound okay still. And that noise isn't coming back?
I can't tell because I'm listening to Skype and the stream at the same time, but it's...
I mean, I guess if it were really bad, it would be noticeable.
Yeah, no, I'm not really noticing it.
Listen on my iPhone real quick. No, there's a little bit of room noise, but it's nothing. Yeah, man, that quality's great.
Yeah, image quality is way higher.
Yeah, it's this new computer, man. It can handle so much. Like this program is incredible. We're all looking all professional, like, you know, like,
yeah,
like we know what we're doing or something, you know.
Got Pedro in the chat now. Oh, whose mic is low, Pedro? Dave or mine?
Mine.
Oh, Dave's. Oh, Joe. Joe in the chat says
I have mine
so,
boosted all the way up. The problem is, yeah, I'm gonna have to get some sort of amplifier for it. 'Cause it's coming. You know why it's like that? It's my microphone. Because this microphone has a very low, like, I guess you would call it gain structure.
Oh yeah.
This type of mic, they say you could shoot a shotgun off next to it and it wouldn't distort. So
is it an XLR mic?
It is an XLR. It's the Sennheiser 421. So let's do this. I guess in your Skype, can you bring down your input a little bit to match me, and then we'll just...
Sure. Well, I've got a little Scarlett box, so I can just turn it down.
There we go. So this is me talking. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
And Liam talking. Check 1 2.
We sound the same. Somebody louder still? As mine inputs and outputs are up all the way.
Yeah, I'm about 60% at the moment.
Wait for a response. Final answer.
Dave is lower still. Okay, I can lower myself still.
You don't have the auto leveling on, do you?
No.
It would say on your Skype right beneath it.
That's
the thing. I have my auto leveling off. I just have everything jacked up.
Oh, you know what? On Skype it does have it auto, but now I turned it off and it's still like peaks out a little bit. Let me turn that down even more. How about that? That.
Okay, now you're going down.
That. How's that, guys?
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Tacos.
Tacos.
Ah.
I'll just try to talk loud
It's funny because you sound really good to
to you.
me.
You probably have your
Yeah.
headphones way up.
They're at like 50. Meh. Yeah, Max
Meh.
is. So,
All right. I think
whatever.
it's yeah. I mean, I can see. Let me just look at my settings in here. Do volume range. I don't know what that is.
Better, but not great. Okay. Go down to 25. I am at like 30 at the moment, so
Check.
I'll go down to 25.
Check. Yeah, that's all up. Let me see if there's any other inputs I can change.
On
It's just because this microphone, it just doesn't have the power.
can you override it in XSplit? Will it let you boost your audio in there?
No.
Hmm.
No.
Oh well.
Yeah, I'll
That's
have
all
to
right.
get a little booster for it or something because I got everything up. I think it's good enough to where people can hear. Yeah. So, yeah, Matt says just talk louder. So, all right, you want to do some stuff and things? We can get started
Yeah.
here. All right, cool. Well, let's go to my screen.
Yeah, I guess while you're switching, we can tell people the plan tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave has been thinking about getting a little bit more comfortable in Redshift, and he's been working on this Christmas light thing for Octane. So we're gonna see if we can make it in Redshift. That's pretty much the goal, just to try and get
Yeah.
Dave a little bit more comfortable with render settings and materials and all that. So it's kind of like what Learn Squared does a little bit, but as a live stream. So I'm gonna watch Dave, and when he gets stuck, help him work through his stuff.
Yeah. So, I'm just gonna take and rebuild this little light real quick. Just just because I can. It only takes a second.
Yeah, and then you can show it off a little bit too. Come on.
Right. Yeah. Bulb.
It's funny. I'm watching the YouTube stream as well because it comes through higher quality on that than it does through
Then
Skype.
Skype, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, so I'm just gonna do this deal here. This is the first time I've used R20 on this computer, so I hope I don't have any issues.
You might. I don't know. I feel like R20 hasn't been as fast as R19.
Well, I don't have any problems on my laptop, but
okay.
It seems like I'm having some weirdness. It could be the stupid NVIDIA gaming overlay thing that it does.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. I think it'll work good enough for us to do our thing. So I just made a little lathe. I'll make another one here. This don't gotta be perfect. Nobody said it gotta be perfect. All right. Bam. We got a bulb. Isn't it pretty?
It's looking good. It's amazing how, like, I don't know. I feel like modeling always is going to be so difficult, and then you just have the lathe, and it's like, oh, that wasn't too bad.
Right. Oh, you can just do a spline. That's cool. Bulb. Here's my bulb, and let's go ahead and put the pivot point down here. Okay. So I guess, should I open a Redshift window?
Yeah.
View?
Yeah, whatever you want to do. Render view is going to be the best window. They still have the old IPR in there, and that's kind of just for like people that are still using the old versions of it, but render view is the best one and the most stable now.
And I got my undersampling to 3.
Oh, there we go. It's coming back.
Once it powered up, it was fine, but yeah, that was pretty slow. I think it's good. Now that it's powered up, it's good. And that takes away all the resources. That's pretty killer.
So it says, do you guys know if Redshift supports RealFlow vertex maps? It should. It should support any vertex map. As long as RealFlow generates a vertex map, you can pull a vertex map into your material shader, and it will read that data.
So we might have to do this. We might have to switch to your screen. Because I mean it's bad. So I might just have to follow along, and you can actually show.
Okay.
So if you want to, let me know when you have that up, and then I'll just switch over. That'll be fine.
Yeah, I've got it open, and, so you can switch over.
I need to share this little project with you real quick. You can get my bulb, and you can get my let's see. Let me just go to Skype, and I'll send this to you real quick. Because I got a little texture in there that I can send, that you can pull out too.
Okay, cool.
So there's my bulb.
Come on. Download.
All right, so I'm going to bring you up on the screens here.
Cool. I'm just going to download this to my desktop and show.
Infinity. Because you got my stream up, I think, or something. That's fun.
Weird. I shouldn't. Which screen? Oh, am I sharing the wrong screen? I wonder if I... Hold on. Display one. There we go. That should be just...
There we go. I'll bring yours up. Nope. Still doing that. Stand by. I can fix... Oh, derp. Let me move my live window over. There we go.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay.
All right, bulb. What's the texture? Oh, you got a bump on that, or
That's
a normal map?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so I'll follow along. I won't be able to power up the thing. I'm gonna have to, I'm getting a 1080 or a 2080, and I'm gonna have to designate. So that's a question. Can you designate what cards to use for Redshift?
Yeah, it's not as simple as it is in Octane. That is one fallback. But if you go into your preferences, and R20 preferences seem to take a little bit to load. Come on.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know.
R20 preferences take a while to load. Like, okay, I'm bringing mine up and following along here.
Then you'll go into Renderer, Redshift, and you'll see CUDA devices, and you can just choose whichever ones you want. The only problem with that is it also affects final render time too. So like you have to uncheck these, restart Cinema, and then it'll be unchecked and only using one graphics card. And then if you want to go to final render, you have to check them back on, so on and so forth. So kind of sucks.
The plugin options use multiple threads. Is that within your CPU then?
I'm not sure. I think it's my guess would be it's for the CPU when it's doing texture conversions.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just
what? Yeah, I'm gonna have to put in a 1080 and then just uncheck the 1060 when I'm doing a stream.
Yeah.
That's fun. Oh
well. So let's take a look here. So under render settings, just gonna make sure I'm on Redshift and I'm on a new machine, so I don't have any of my default stuff set up. But under integration, just like with standard renderer, it's got that default light situation, so I'm going to turn that off, just so I'm not using the standard default light from Cinema.
I like how that picture just popped up for no reason. Thanks, Skype.
Johnny Depp one. Wow. Thank you, Skype. So if I hit play now...
Yeah, Mark, we know the audio's low. I have everything cranked, but no.
Yeah.
It's all good. We'll figure it out eventually. We'll get there.
Mark, are you not playing soccer? Mark was supposed to go play soccer, but I guess because he's not feeling well. So anyway, I've got this rendering, and you can see that it's not really doing anything because there's no lights. So I'm going to create just like a couple area lights. So I've got all my stuff docked down here, but you'll be able to find it, of course, in your Redshift menu. You can pull that out. And just bring this over here.
Area lights, okay.
And the reason I have this undocked, you don't have to have it undocked, but I was working with Chad on a project. He was telling me that undocking the render view is like a gotcha with Cinema 4D. Like every render engine has stability issues with a docked render view or an IPR.
Really?
Yeah. So if you
What would that be?
Well,
Tonight, I can't even add a light without it completely screwing the live stream. That's really weird. I think I'm having another issue here because I felt like everything was slow in R20. I just got all of this loaded up today on this machine, so I feel like everything is running slow. So,
oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna watch and learn and ask questions then.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
So I've got 2 lights set up here, and I guess why don't you tell me, you can just kind of play art director or creative director and tell me what you want to do.
Okay, so the lights that you set up, where are those area lights at?
So if I pull back here, they're right in here.
Where did you find them in the drop down? Because I saw physical
Gotcha.
light, I saw...
So yeah, if you're in your Redshift menu, then lights, we've got infinite, point, spot, and area. So that's what I brought in, 2 area lights.
Gotcha.
And then there's a bunch of different kinds of area lights you can do, just normal rectangle, a disc, spheres, cylinder, and a mesh. So if you wanted to make this bulb light up, well, I would have to throw in a connect first because connects solve everything. Let's see. Oh. Connect. And go. I'll probably have to turn this up a lot.
I've done it myself, Matt. I've done it before. I've done a lot of this before. It's been like a year, and so these basics, right. I mean, it makes sense to me. I can watch a tutorial and remember it.
Yeah. Oh, now this is blown out. Let's do one. So yeah, that's where these are. The nice thing about it is kind of like Arnold, is you get these little tags up here, so you know what direction your light's in at all times, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
So what else? What should I do now?
All right. So now let's take a look at the bulb material itself.
Okay. Like this one that you set up, the outline.
That's just a reference for me to outline it. But that normal map that I sent you.
Yeah.
Like put like a regular glass material on. So what would you do to do that glass material?
So because I have everything down here, just pretend that this bar is down here.
Okay.
So if you were to pop that out. So under Redshift materials, you can get a regular material. And I'm just going to rename this glass really quickly. Throw it on our glass. And double click on it. And I'm not even going to go into the node editor at this point. Just you can do a custom preset, and there's glass in here.
Oh, and it just sets all of it. What is your node tree? Just out of curiosity, what does it look like?
Kind of just like espresso.
Right.
But
as far as the setup.
Yeah, it has an output right here, and in this output, you normally just put it into surface, but it has your displacement options in here. If you want to do like really custom light setups, you can do that in here. If you want to send a texture just to the viewport but not to the render view, you can send it that way.
That's nice.
And then and then if you want to do like volume stuff, like volume noise and things like that, that's also in here. But outside of that, you can get away with a lot of stuff just in here, which is going to be reflected in here if you double tap on it.
Yeah.
And the other nice thing too is if you start adding nodes in, they'll start populating in here as well. So you'll get like another line under here that might say like color or whatever, and you can do your adjustments in here. You don't always have to keep going into the shader graph to keep making adjustments. So you said the normal map is for this glass, right?
Yeah, you almost need like an HDR or something so you can really see what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna cheat and get a psych wall, which should help too.
It's a big bulb.
Real nice banana.
Real nice banana.
You know what? Just for the sake of showing you, I'll put an HDRI in. So dome light, and that's pretty much, yeah, that's how you're gonna add an HDRI. Hopefully my network drive is up, and I'll just connect to that really quickly. Get an HDRI. I think it's yeah. Software backups and skies. And we'll just do this one. Nope. Cool. Let's turn this exposure up a little bit so you can see that. And bring this down. All right, so you can pretty much see what's going on now. There are a couple gotchas with glass that we can go over later, but we'll just work on the material right now. So you have this normal map, right? That's going to be the next thing that you add onto it.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I put in mine was just the normal map, and then I just changed colors.
Okay. So for a normal map, they have a normal node, but it's been deprecated, and I don't even know. I better check to see. Yeah, it's still in here, and you'll see it's under legacy. What you're going to use is a bump map, sort of like with Arnold, where you can use a normal inside a bump map node. And
weird. Does it recognize the difference by itself, or do you have a pull down?
Yeah, there's a pull down right here. So height map, like you would for just normal black and white.
Okay.
Yeah, then tangent space, and then object space as well. Which object space is really cool because it's like full color spectrum, and you can get like a 3D ear out of it. I think Tim Clapham yeah. I'll try and find the video, but someone has a video where they have a full object space map of an ear, and it's just on a plane, and it makes a full ear right there on a plane, and it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, you got to send me a link to that. I want to find that.
But for a normal map, we're going to use tangent space, and I need to bring in a texture node as well. So just grab a texture, and we'll find that on my desktop.
So the texture node, that's basically the same as Octane.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like an image texture.
Yeah, the only things that aren't the same is like a transform node. There isn't a transform node yet. You kind of have to build your own. But you can do all your transforms in here under remap, so like scaling, offset, rotation.
So it's kind of like it's just built into the texture.
Yeah, the only thing is if you're working with like a complicated material, then you have to start going and adjusting them manually, where a transform node would help with that if you want to set them all the same size. And you can build those yourself. It's not very complicated. It's just an extra step. So we've got the texture here. I'm going to go ahead and put it into texture input, which will then go into our Redshift material here. And we've got all these diffuse, backlighting, translucency, reflection. We're going to find bump is overall, and bump input. And there we go. You'll start to see it right in there. And why don't I brighten up these lights as well?
I think I did spherical mapping on that too to make it, and it worked perfect.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Spherical.
That's looking good. It's just not mapped right.
So there's spherical and
wait, where was that? Show me again. Where's the...
I just did spherical right inside like the normal texture tag.
So you use the texture tags in Cinema.
Yeah.
For all of this. Okay.
Yeah, and you can do some stuff inside the textures here. Like there's a UV channel. So if you have custom UVs per texture, so if you want to put a label on this, you could just have another UV map and throw it right in here. And then if you wanted to throw like another label on top of that label, you could have your own UV channel for that one too. So instead of doing like polygon selections and things like that, you would do UV maps.
Okay.
But that's like complicated stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But yeah,
you've got
for
it on
this,
spherical, and then maybe do like change the length to like 50% by 50%, or scale 0.5, whichever. I
yeah,
guess it doesn't matter, right?
it doesn't matter. You should be able to set it in here or inside your remap. So you can choose either way. So now there's 50%. You got that there. So one of the gotchas of being biased with glass, I kind of hinted at earlier, is it will try and take shortcuts. So if your glass isn't looking exactly how you want, under your rate options, you can choose how refraction is affected. So like don't ever affect refraction automatically, which is kind of like a hybrid in between, and then you can choose always, so it's always refracting light properly. So like it looks like it's just not quite there 100%, and then if I turn this on, it cleans up pretty well.
Well, you know, the one thing that I forgot to do with that is I didn't do an inside to that bulb, so it's technically
yeah,
you know what I mean.
I can probably
so
just
you can probably do that real quick. So I'll show. This is what I did at NAB East. So turn off your lathe real quick. Just exit.
Yeah.
Okay, and then open your spline. Let's look at your spline from the side view.
Okay. Let's see, like the right side, something like that.
However you can see the spline. I think that'd be front view. You probably have to turn your psych off.
Yeah.
Okay, so
there we go.
Yeah, go full with that. All right, so duplicate that spline under itself.
Okay.
All right, and then select points.
Okay.
Select all points. Move it to the right a little bit.
Oh, you know what? Yep. I've got that on. There we go.
All right, and now shrink it on the y-axis a little bit. All right, and now grab the top point only.
Okay.
Okay, set that to 0x. Okay, now go to the other spline and set that other one to 0x as well.
That is. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I gotta set the point. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Okay. And now select both splines.
Okay.
And do Shift C and type connect objects and delete. All right, and now turn your lathe back on. And now it's hollow.
Cool.
So let's see if that affected it. I'll be interested to see. So now it's not a solid piece of glass.
Oh yeah, it looks way different now.
Yeah. Yeah. And turn your psych on and see what you get. Yeah. I think that's more what we're looking for, right?
Yeah, because you can see right, like a little bit in the top there. I'll come in.
Yeah, you could.
This
obviously that needs a little adjusting, but
yeah.
We get the point.
Cool.
So yeah, and that'll help too. Like if we put a light inside of it,
you
know. So, okay. So what about the red? So that would be transmission if I were in Octane.
Yeah. So there's two ways you can go about doing that. If we go back in here, there's actually a tinted glass preset.
Oh,
so
sweet.
So you can do that, and then transmission is down here under subsurface at the very bottom. Okay. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you can start adjusting that and your absorption. So that will make it really dark. If I go to like 0.001, get
that's
nice.
Is it clipping?
It looks like it's clipping a little bit.
Weird.
I think also what's happening is I don't have GI on, so that might be.
Yeah, that's really odd. I wonder if the normals are backwards. I bet the normals are backwards. Go to your lathe, and I think there's a flip normals on it.
All right, let me turn that back on. Oh yeah.
All right. Sometimes that happens when you do that little spline thing.
Gotcha. So I'm going to reset
the default?
this.
Yeah.
Oh, default's there. Here, I'll just go back to glass, tinted glass. There we go.
Yeah, okay, we're getting somewhere. But so it still has like a white specular in it.
Yeah, so that you can change in reflection. So if we want to put a little bit of that in there.
There we go.
And then I'll bring this back down a little bit with the weight. maybe like, why don't I just copy that one? Now I'll put on bucket mode to clean it up.
Now tell me about bucket mode.
So in Octane, you kind of just have like a progressive render where it will render until it gets to a certain point of clean. And Redshift has that too. So if I go into here, you'll see progressive rendering, and you can use that for a final render, but it will be really dirty. Bucket rendering is like what you get in standard, where for each core of your CPU, you get a bucket. But for this, for each GPU you have in your machine, you get a bucket. So if if I re-render this, you'll see I'll get 2 on here. So right now it's doing a radiance pass, and then it's too fast to really tell, but there's definitely 2 buckets going at the same time. And so that really helps speed up things because you're kind of just isolating sections to each GPU instead of trying to like brute force everything all at the same time. So that's really nice. And then if you start using Deadline 2, which you've had Brandon on to talk about, you can isolate per GPU, which is really great. I know you can do that with Octane now as well in Deadline. But that's really the main difference. So like progressive is pure brute force for the whole scene, and then unified sampling and bucket mode is like kind of pure per GPU cleanup like you would get with standard renderer.
Okay. All right. Well, specular, put the specular actually back to white, because I think I had a white specular.
Okay.
Now what I see, here's what I'm not quite getting, because it looks a little bit different than the results I would expect with white specular and red transparent material.
Okay.
So like the reflections on the front are white, and that looks fine, but what you're getting there, like on the left side, seems like it would be more red. Maybe the roughness. Where would you get roughness from then?
Sure. So you can have roughness in your reflection here. So that's right down in here.
Okay.
And you'll see that definitely kind of helps smooth it out a little bit. And I'll clean that up with a bucket render. But that spreads it out a lot.
Way too much. Yeah. That almost looks like a standard render. There we go. But see, like, it's still different results than I would expect in Octane. It's hard for me to explain. It's the stuff on the left side that's kind of white.
Right in here.
It seems like that would be more red, but yeah. What about, so with this glass material, how do you affect your index of refraction?
So that's all right here in reflection. So right here you have IOR. You can also do like color edge. There's also metalness workflow built in, and then the 3 IOR advanced, so you can set your individual colors if you want to. So if you just want to do reflectivity and like a metal edge, and kind of like have more artistic control like that.
I gotcha. Yeah.
And then metalness workflow, where you can just choose whatever you want your reflection to be. So kind of a white, yeah. You'll see it will go kind of metallic.
Oh yeah, totally. All right, so go back to that original one and bring up the roughness just a little bit.
Okay. I'll go to like 0.1.
Now, let's see. What is, okay, so you got that's the diffuse roughness. All right.
This is the regular reflection roughness, and then up here is diffuse, if you want to have any diffuse. So if we start pulling this back in, then it would add diffuse back into it.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, bring up the roughness of the diffuse a little bit. That one, yeah, what does that do?
Well, so since we have refraction all the way at 1, it's not going to pick up on any of the diffuse, so I'll bring it down to like 0.9, and it should start to... You'll see now.
Geez.
Yeah, now it really starts to add that back in, because it's saying, all right.
We'll change the color too, of course, to red.
Yeah. Make it like
Okay, I see. An obviously that's going to come way down, but
yeah. So I'll do like a 10% on that.
okay, all right. And the roughness on the reflections, maybe bring that up a little more.
Like 0.25. And you can also control the roughness on the refraction as well if you wanted to. So you could separate that.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. See, that needs to come up. So
Okay,
you can't
so
see inside the bulb.
yeah, all right. So then I'll bring this back down, and then on the refraction, we'll
I
do
like
like
that level of control. That's really good.
yeah. So I'll bring this up to like 0.25 and see if that helps it out. I can go even more than that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's good.
Do like 0.5. Oh yeah, because I can see like this side starting to.
Yeah. See, that's yeah. And then maybe bring down. It just looks like I don't know. It looks like you can see through it too much. Maybe it's the index of refraction is too low, but I can't tell.
I'm gonna switch it. No, thin walled isn't what I want. Never mind. Well, yeah. Let's. So, I mean, they're probably more like a plastic, right? So it's probably like 1.65, maybe.
Do you have control over I can't see it there, the roughness of the refraction?
Yeah, so right here is refraction, and I can control that here. And then reflection as well is separated.
Refraction up a little bit, the refraction roughness.
Okay. So we'll do like 0.75, bring that up even more.
And then maybe specular could come down in strength.
Okay. I might need to add some more samples into this too. Let's try 32 just to clean that up a bit. I'll do like 0.25. So that's starting to even out a good bit in there.
Yeah. And then
I think maybe
we can put a basic green material on the bottom just so that's not blasting through.
It's gonna up the absorption a little bit too.
Okay. Well, kind of.
Yeah. I think I went too far. So I was at 0.01. So let's try 0.05. Just a little more. And then we'll put a green material on the bottom. So for this, we'll just call this the base, and we can do a plastic. Where's plastic? No, not paper, plastic. There we go. So like a green. They're usually pretty dark greens, right?
Yeah, pretty dark. Very broad roughness to them too.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Come on. So that's a little bit weird that it's showing up so bright.
Is it just because you still have those two lights on? Try turning those lights off, see what happens. Where's your HDR?
I have that turned down pretty low.
Yeah, try that. Maybe we'll get a better representation.
Oh, too much. Too much. We'll just do like 5.
Okay. No, we're getting somewhere. Maybe you could turn the psych off now that you're just using HDR, then we could see through it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you could bring the roughness down now, it looks like, on some of it. I think we were getting...
We're probably getting some bounce back from the psych.
Yeah, we were getting some weirdness just because we had a lot of stuff going on with the setup.
So
I want to be able to see through it. You know, I think it could be absorption too. I don't know.
Yeah. So we're getting like some partial transparency there. I'll bring this back down to 0.01. The absorption.
There we go. Because, yeah, you want to see through it a little bit. But the
Yeah.
index of refraction is way too high. It needs to be almost like 1.1.
Really? You think so? Because that's going to make it like close to water.
Yeah, it's got to be higher than that. You're right. But something that's more clear.
Let's try like 1 point.
Do you have an object in your scene for your HDR? Do you have an actual HDR image? Or is it just
no, yeah, it's just because I turned the exposure up so high that if I bring it back down to 1, it's just like an afternoon sky.
Gotcha. I think some of it is the HDR. Do you have a different HDR you could throw in, like maybe like a city or something? That's because for me, like the biggest thing with looking through these lights was you almost want to see, you almost don't want it to be that blurry through it. You know, you can change the opacity or whatever, but like because it is that really almost clear plastic, kind of like a colored plastic cup that you can see through.
Yeah.
So you can almost see through it like you could colored glass, even though they make it out of plastic. But
let's see. I'm gonna try like Manhattan Bridge.
And I'll load while you're doing that. I'm gonna load up my some still photos I had from NAB. What that looks like. So I had some samples here.
So this is like a brick bar. It almost looks like. I'm using Manhattan Nights. Just see what else we've got. 6 ab. We'll try that. See if that's city-ish. Maybe. There we go.
Of course, once we put a bulb in it, it's gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay. That's. Now change your gamma on the HDR. What does it usually set to by default?
It tries to do it automatically, but you can override it. So I just overrid it to just sRGB.
What's the number on it? Is it set to 2.2? It almost looks like it needs to be at 1. Set at 2.2.
I can set it to 1. Now it's at 1. And then let me see, 2.2. Come on, it's processing textures. There we go. So that's 2.2, and then this is 1.
Let me bring up mine real quick so you can see here. So this is the light that I did. This isn't really high samples or anything out of Octane, but you can kind of see what it's doing there, how you can see through it, and the light kind of blows it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll need to put a light in it, of course, to really see what it does, but you know. All right.
I wonder if I turn down this IOR by itself for just refraction and keep the reflection IOR high, how that works.
See, it looks too soft still. I do like that independent control, though.
Yeah, not like it's too much. I'll just link them back up.
That's pretty good. Let's go with that. Let's go
okay.
with that. So we can go on to like lights or something. So I guess on the inside, let's I guess before let's do anything, just put a little cylinder on the inside of that thing, because you know there's always like a little something that's holding the light on the inside, and it actually makes a difference on what it looks like when it's lit up from the inside.
Yeah.
So like something maybe like super small, but something that would like put a pedestal be a pedestal for your light.
Okay. Turn this off. Back into here. Sorry. And kind of like something like that. Yeah. And you want the actual cylinder to glow, or do you want to have...
No, I'd say just put a light above it.
Okay.
And we could probably go back and put a black texture on that cylinder or something. Just so, because when it lights up, you don't want it to light all the way down. You want to have a little bit of a shadow, like there's some hardware inside that the bulb's screwed into. Obviously, if you were going to make it where you could take the top off, you would want to make that whole inside, but... Okay, so what are you using there? Area light?
Yeah, so I grabbed an area light and set it to sphere.
So you don't set that in Cinema 4D like you would with Octane. You actually set the shape of the light within Redshift.
Yeah, so you can use an area light to be any of these built in. So rectangle, disc, sphere, cylinder, and then a mesh. So if you had some kind of complicated mesh that you wanted to light up, then you would just do that. And I'll just put this box over here. And
so rather than doing an emission texture, you actually do it like that?
Yeah, because the emission textures don't affect volumetrics in here. So you can use... They have an incandescent material that you can use if you want to.
To affect volumetrics? Or it
doesn't,
it doesn't affect volumetrics?
No, it doesn't, but it still will affect GI. But you can get a lot more control by using an area light, just because you can set your samples however you want. So if you have noise in a certain area and you know that that area light is affecting that area, you just set your samples higher there. While you can't control your samples for a material. So you just kind of get whatever you get from the material. So if like this cube was producing a lot of noise, I could just crank up my samples in here, like double ohm or triple ohm or however, and that would clean it up. Well, if I had just the incandescent material on here and it was producing a lot of noise, there's nothing you can really do except brute force it in your render settings with all your samples.
Okay. Okay, so make that a sphere, put it in the middle, let's see what happens. So when I'm in Octane, my issue that I have is that I do not want my light on the inside to actually cast light.
Okay. So you don't want it to be visible by the camera?
But that's just an Octane.
Okay.
So I have to do these weird exclusions and all this stuff to make it work, because I put like a separate reflection, or not reflection, I put like a separate light on the outside to cast the light itself on other objects.
Yeah.
You know, I guess put like a plane at 0 and just, yeah. No, that's fine. Or well, yeah, or both. So
here,
you can see where the light's casting.
Yeah. So there's that there, and then I can do one over here if you want.
Okay, so see the light's coming through white. Now in Octane it comes through red because it's red, a red material. So like to change the colors of my bulbs, I just change my material transmission.
Mm-hmm.
But that white coming through, where is that coming from, and how do you make that red?
So that's just because it's so hot at the moment. So if I pull this back down, you'll see that it's using the color from here. But if you want to set your own color in the color mode over here under general, you can choose whatever you want. So if you want to kind of match it up a little bit, then you can set it to red as well. Something like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's... I guess I don't understand why, if it's a red material on the outside, why doesn't the light come through red?
Yeah, I think it's just because it's so hot. You know what? Let me turn this back and let me add in a camera, because the camera might fix this. So if you add a Redshift camera tag under exposure, you can do tone mapping and stuff like that. You can allow overexposure desaturation. So if it's overexposed, it doesn't oversaturate the frame. No, it still kind of shows up white. Let me see if I can control that a little more.
See, that's not a specular. Is that a specular coming through? That might be what it is.
Maybe that's what it is.
So change the specular of the material and see what happens.
Let's see. So we'll make this
a white light inside of a red piece of plastic would come out on the other side.
Yeah, no, it's not that, because.
What about? Well, yeah.
I wonder, maybe the scatter coefficient. I don't think, usually that's black and white that controls that. Yeah, no.
Okay, what about? Okay, so I can't read it. Go down. That one.
Here.
What is that?
That's refraction.
Change that to red. I'm just curious. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But it changes the specular on the outside of other things. That's the problem. Because if you wanted if you wanted white specular on the outside from everything else, but just red coming through, you know.
Well, I think it's because the specular's so low down, because we were trying to get the color right. But if I bring the weight back up, you can start to see the white specular coming through. And I'll clean this up and do a bucket render.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, so now you can see in here there's the white speculars, and I'll go in tight.
Tight. It's interesting that it does that before it puts on the...
That's just because of how I have it set up with GI. I have a point cache, but if I just do brute force, then it won't do that. It will just go straight into bucket rendering. Yeah, right in here is the white specular.
Yeah,
so yeah, and if I were to kind of boost up the roughness, you'll see it blur out, and that can make it really sharp. There we go.
So it does look like we need to have like just a little bit of roughness on the refraction, because the light should be like a lot more smooth.
So let's see, I will unlink that, and we'll just put this to 1.4, and we'll put this like 0.35. So something like that. Yeah.
Zoom out. Let's see what we got now. Weird. It's kind of weird.
It might just be like
the light's
noise.
Not inside the cylinder, is it?
Oh, it is. Yeah. Oh, you mean inside the cylinder inside? No,
yeah.
It's sitting on top.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me just make sure I haven't bumped it. Oh, it's here.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So okay, so for the cylinder, do this. Bring the cylinder down a little bit and make it bigger.
Okay. And cylinder. Why are my planes in there? That shouldn't do anything. Move that, sit down a little bit, and like wider.
Yeah,
like
and
with the radius.
Yeah. Now make it wide, and when you're done, bring even more. Yeah, and then bring your light down to the top of that, because that's where the light would usually be emitting from, is closer to the bottom.
Yeah, something like that. Just gonna lock this to that camera.
It's weird that you see, I don't know, it just doesn't, maybe it needs to be brighter now. There we go. It's weird that it creates like that blackness right there, but I don't know what that is.
You know what? It's probably this. Yep.
What is that?
Is that affected by refraction that I was talking about before, where like it tries to like do a hybrid, so you can say like, no, don't affect the refraction. Oh. Yes, and then it just wasn't turned on.
So now bring the brightness back down.
And I think it was at like 1250.
Curious if that changes the color now. If you take the specular or the refraction back to white, what does it do?
It's probably gonna go back to white. Yeah.
Weird. It's just like weird that it's not like soft, you know?
That might just be like a sampling thing. Let me try like 256 and see if it will clean it up. And no. How does it react in Octane? Does it get softer?
It looks, I don't know, it looks pretty soft. Like it's just, it's affected too, the light is affected too much by the normal map at this point. It just seems like something needs to be softer. Something needs more roughness.
Let's see. I can bring up the reflection. See, I don't think that's going to be it, but maybe it is.
What up, nickname? Okay, wait, what was that? It seems to be possibly doing something.
I just upped the refraction roughness.
Yeah, that's what it is. So that's good. So maybe now change it back to red, and I think we'll be golden. This is the thing about Redshift to me, is that it's a good news, bad news situation. It's like, good news is you have a whole bunch more control. Bad news is it's a lot harder to get stuff exactly, like to get what you have in your head.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess it's kind of just like getting used to it and knowing what. Yeah. Because it's kind of like that with everything. Like once you like know what's what, you have your standard movements, and it just becomes second nature.
Mm-hmm. So now, I guess turn off the side things and just put one underneath, and let's take a look at it.
Okay. Like these planes.
Yeah.
Just turn that off for a second. There we go.
That's looking pretty close. The specular thing is something like, once I get this, I'll have you send me the file when we're done. I'm going to play with it. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, that's getting close.
Yeah, and like the fact that you can change the IOR for both, and just like, you know, the roughness for refraction is making this spread out, but then if we bring this back in more, like the 0.1 again for the reflection, I wonder how that's going to change things. So like then you get some of that crispness back of the bump while still having that spread out.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'll have to find out the medium, but yeah, that seems like it works.
We probably don't even need like that much diffuse on here. We can do like 0.001.
Oh yeah, that's starting to look. Now it's just a little hot.
Yeah. Do like 500.
Super hot. See, it affected on the outside, but it seems like it's still like.
Yeah, it's like it's refracting too many times inside or something. Let me bring the scale down a little bit.
Yeah, that's another thing. You know what? Bring it down even more, because the bulb itself, the little filament, is going to be pretty small.
Yeah.
And technically, it's not going to be a sphere. It's going to be like a little mini cylinder, you know, and it's just going to be super bright.
Yeah, I can put like a little cylinder version of it in there and just have it kind of sit on top.
Can you make it a cylinder in the drop down?
Yeah, so set it to cylinder, and then I can just kind of.
Yeah, and then turn it sideways.
Let's see, like that.
Yeah, because the filament would be going across 2 wires.
Gotcha. Yeah.
IRL. And it would be like thin and wide, so that might help.
So let's see. That maybe this will be like 1.5. Let's say this is 45, 1.5. Something like that.
Yeah, that's not bad. What about the brightness?
So yeah, there's 2 ways to control. You can do intensity or you can do exposure. So I can just like really crank the exposure up here.
That's interesting. That's the exposure level of the light in the camera?
Yeah.
Huh.
And you can do negative as well and bring it back down.
Weird.
And then you have intensity as well, which is like a multiplier. So
Well, I like the exposure because then you can set it so that you're getting that feel coming out of it, like reflecting on the surface. Shining light on the surface, you can get that how you want it and have that control. So what if you do like that and then
that
and
down.
so you're getting more of the realistic shadow going with that cylinder too. Because there's all those inners inside the bulb that give it like really weird reflections.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess too there would be caustics as well, right? Like
yeah, show me that. Show me how do you do. Oh, save this, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. No. There we go. Now it's safe. So caustics. The best way, I guess, to start would be inside the render settings, and photons. Make sure they're already enabled, so that's good. And then under your photons tab of a light, you can enable caustics. And really, you kind of just start playing with the intensity and how many photons you want released. And you kind of have to go back and forth and play with it a little bit. I want to say like 200,000 caustics in here, and then the search
affect render time.
Yeah, it does, but it's usually pretty fast with caustics. Maybe I'll do like a 2 area search. You can see it's still rendering pretty quickly. Maybe I'll just really crank up the intensity of caustics, see if we can get something going. Am I missing something? I always miss something with caustics. Override trace steps, advanced.
Caustics because my last name is Coss.
Oh yeah.
So I make that joke to people, like when I used to work at an agency.
Dave Caustics. Let's see.
Yeah, and they couldn't unhear it.
Missing something, or maybe the color's just overriding it. Bring this up, the search radius. No.
It's probably something technical.
Oh, you know what? It is something technical. It's because I don't have irradiance on. It needs
irradiance has to be on for caustics.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's looking pretty.
Yeah, you're starting to get a little bit in there,
yeah,
and then
that's good.
Just turn this down a little bit. I don't think I need to search so far. I can probably fire even more.
Yeah, we want to get that really cool, like.
And sure, we'll just keep cranking these up till we get something.
What is that? The photon?
Yeah, photon tab, and then emit caustic photons. And you can tell it how many and how intense it should be.
Nice.
Yeah, which it's kind of getting there, but it's not exactly what I'm expecting. I'm expecting like
almost like seeing those little triangles.
Yeah. like I have never had to go this far with caustic numbers. Like usually it is.
Is it because your exposure's up and you can't see? Like, what if you turn? Does your exposure, I guess, affect the caustics too? Then
Maybe. I'm gonna make
exposure.
sure. Yeah, I'm gonna just also make sure that I feel like I'm missing a tab. Like there's probably something that I didn't turn on somewhere, but we will turn this down. Okay, no, we should still be getting some kind of caustics through there. Like that's not right. What am I missing? Raise volume, like groups. No.
Maybe do it in a new project with like just a light and some glass and see what happens.
Yeah.
This will be a fun experiment. I want to learn about caustics.
Light with a sphere. I'm gonna. All right. So material, just put. What are you doing, material? See, this is something I've noticed with R20 that hasn't happened with R19 in Redshift is if I create a new material sometimes, it just locks up here.
Nickname says the object needs the Redshift tag in order to emit the caustics.
Yes. Okay, that's what it is. It needs an object. Yeah. Okay. Come on. I hope this didn't freeze. It's a good thing you told me to save, because...
Sweet.
All right, that's... No, not taskbar settings. Task manager. Yeah, not responding, of course. All right, cinema. Oh, shoot, it's opening R19. Whatever.
I feel like that would happen.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Maybe this will play a little nicer too. Oh no, do I not have my Redshift set up in here? Or my, yeah. Cinema 40 R20, there we go. Good thing we have nickname in the chat. I'm just gonna call you nickname.
So I guess what I should do until I get my 2080, I should grab one of these 1080s out of this other machine and just dedicate it for something, just for streaming purposes.
Yeah, if you're going to be streaming.
But see, I noticed, I brought up Octane for the first time on this afternoon. Just everything seemed laggy, and I don't know why.
So it's not just me. There's something...
But see, I was running R20 with everything on a laptop with a 1060, and it was super fast.
Yeah.
I was streaming with it. Having no issue. Of course, I'm doing more now. I got video playing and a live chroma key, and
yeah.
But still.
So this is probably going to blow out the photons. But if you put a Redshift tag on your object,
okay.
Under visibility, do override, and down here you have cast caustic photons, which we didn't do. And so now when I do a bucket render. As long as my save point was... Oh, okay, there we go. There, we're starting to see them there. So you can see right in here, we're getting these little dots. So we can do like, I'll do like a 5 for caustics, and then under our render settings, photons, we can do like that.
Drag your bar down a little bit, like so we don't see the material. Like, will that? Yeah.
Oh, this here?
Yeah, and maybe... Yeah, just so it's a little bigger for the stream.
Go this way. Maybe will it let me? I'll pause it. There we go.
There we go. Okay. Now we are cooking with fire.
Right. Yeah, so now we're starting to get these caustic shots in there. And I think we're just going to have to start cleaning these up. So I'm going to do like a 5. Usually the search radius, I believe, is what cleans them up. Yeah. So you can see now we're getting these nice little ripples in there.
Wow, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you can see like that's one thing that's great about Redshift is it's super fast. So I'll go up to like 10.
So now again, my question, I guess, still stands: does the exposure of the light affect that?
Might play a little bit into it. Let's check that out. So I'll bring this back down to something like 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely does.
And the setting you did right before that, I guess put that back first, but you set something to 10. It looked like it softened the caustics.
Yeah, so under Redshift render settings, photons, you can set the search radius. So that starts to blend the caustics together.
Okay, I gotcha.
And then if I go back down to 1, you'll see the individual caustic photons in there, just as the dots.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously it wouldn't be that clean in real life.
Right. So you can mess with it, find a happy medium, and then if you want more photons coming out, you can always blast more photons. That will give it more realism. Cool. Kind of something in there. But I don't think the intensity should really affect this too much. It should just only affect the brightness. Yeah. So as long as you leave your exposure up, you still get those nice caustics, and then you can bring your intensity back down. And so, of course, it's softening it up a little bit, but you can still pick them out in there.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. See, that's something I can't do in Octane.
Oh, really?
I don't... Well, yes and no. It's not as specific, I guess.
Yeah.
Not like that, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I wonder, too, just out of curiosity, how much the roughness on this affects the caustics.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Oh, I guess it doesn't really. Okay. I thought it might. If I do 0.1 here. That doesn't change it. Okay, cool. That's good to know. And this was at like 0.65, I think. Yeah. All right. So what else? What else should we cover?
I don't know. We're over an hour into it. I don't know if
you
want to call it or you want to do anything else before we go.
It's up to you. If you have more questions, I can totally stick around for like another few minutes or so. Or
I do. Man, I wish I had this in front of me. I got to fix my little issue for next time. Because I definitely want to do more of these as I get into it. Because I'm going to have a million questions. Let's see, Redshift wise. Okay, so let's do this and just see what we get. Go ahead and save.
Yep.
And I guess that make sure that dome light is inside of the, or not the dome light. The bulb is inside of the bulb, right? The light is inside of the bulb.
Yep, it is.
Okay.
Good stuff.
All right, so clone it because I want to see what happens with some clones.
Okay. Yeah, that's my cloner. Good. Just do like a radio and turn that off. Z.
So I want to know about instancing and how it affects light.
Okay, I'll just kill these lights since we're not using them. And so
if you turn on, go to your instance mode. What if you use multi-instance now? How does it affect it?
Does it should work. Should,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's good. Because render instances affect light certain ways in Octane, and you have to kind of
Oh, yeah.
jump through some hoops.
No, it looks like each one's emitting its own caustics and everything too. You can see them overlapping in here as this cleans up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything really fancy you have to do.
So just the reds, the way the reds are you looking through the camera right now? Are you able to adjust some of that?
Like some of the
Like the
contrast details and stuff.
the curves on that, because it's just blowing out. It's like getting to a,
Yeah.
it's hitting a wall.
So yes and no. In this version of Redshift, it's not the experimental build with like all the post effects. Um, so you can adjust some gamma stuff in the render view here. So right now it's just set to sRGB. You can do like a 2.2 gamma as well. Inside the camera, you get some of that too. So
Saturation, right? Well, see, the problem is you don't want to mess up the saturation of the bulb itself, but the saturation, maybe just the saturation of the light would help, but
yeah, so you can allow overexposure, but as it overexposes, it desaturates. So I just unchecked that, and you'll see like it starts to kind of brighten up everywhere. But you can control how much overexposure it does at all. Here, I'll stop doing that. If I bring this back down, that's no overexposure. I'll do a clean render.
because the camera tag in Octane has that option on the whites to kind of like highlight compression, basically.
Yeah. So like
what you would have in Lightroom, you know?
Yeah. They have that in the preview build for post effects, which is like 3 builds behind because they're just trying to like stabilize it. But not so much in here. Like you can control the white point a little bit and like your ISO and shutter, but you can't exactly crush like hot points. Let me just double check, make sure they haven't secretly thrown it in here somewhere. No. Yeah. So yeah, that is like one limiting factor where you'd have to do that in post.
Yeah. I don't know. That's probably a good stopping point, because what I want to do is open the file for myself and see if I'm still having an issue with my graphics card A, but you know.
Yeah. Let me save this out for you, and I'll send it back.
I may put one of the other cards into this machine here as soon as we're done and see if that helps me a bit.
Just do zip. I can just drag this to Slack or to Skype, right? To send it to you? Or do I need?
Yeah, you can. I'm sure.
Yeah, there we go.
Cool. Go grab that. We'll just put up our lovely faces here in the meantime.
Oh, am I? Oh no, I'm moving. Okay, I thought it was frozen for a second.
No, you're good. Let's see. Yeah, download, accept. It's coming in. Okay. Well, it's starting to make sense to me. I need to be able to do it for myself, so we're going to have to run a little test with the stream, I guess, next time, and make sure Redshift isn't killing my stream while I'm using it. But yeah, as I move forward, I'll probably come up with a whole list of stuff for you, and we'll have to do another one here in a few weeks or whatever, and you'll have to check on my progress.
Yeah, it helps when you're working on a project too, to really learn it, because that's so like Mark Cernosio is going to come on, except he's got his soccer game and not feeling great, so he's working on his first real client project with Redshift. So he's like, well, why don't I just do like dummy tests with you as I build that out? so that way he can learn it too. So yeah, I'd love to keep doing more of these, either with you or Mark or anyone, like just kind of walk through people. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be great to have a handful of people and like figure out these real life things. I mean, the bulb is kind of a real life thing for me because I'd like to develop that. It's going to be a free plugin, but you know, I would like to have it for different platforms for different people. So, you know, for me, that's IRL, IPR in IRL. Wait, IPR, IRL. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Cool, man.
I'm trying to think. I had an idea the other night for just a funny, like, still frame render. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I should try doing that in Redshift.
Yeah.
You know, or build it in Octane and then try and redo it in Redshift when I'm done.
Yeah, that's how I started. Like, I would do something in Octane and then see what it looked like. I'm like, all right, now let's make it in Redshift.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and like the nice thing about that too is like you can just get everything as you want, and then you can have your materials exactly where they are, and then you can say like, all right, I had my color like this in Octane, so I'm just going to copy that hex number or whatever and bring it into Redshift, and it helps speed up the workflow a little bit too.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know how many people are hanging out anymore. I closed my chat window, but just say.
I mean, there's a handful. It's nighttime. Man, you get so much better numbers during the day.
Yeah,
man,
I know.
Big time.
Yeah, but that's all right. Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out, Dave.
Yeah, man. Thanks for teaching me some stuff.
Yeah. You want to hang around a little bit after this? Just make sure your file opens all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that for sure. Let me finish everything up on the live stream, and I'll go to a standby. See you all later.
All right. See you guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Play a little music here.